if you look at statistics, I only briefly looked up some numbers in terms of just like looking into, as an example, women in tech. Two women chatting on this podcast, it seemed like an appropriate statistic to look up, and I think most of the numbers that I saw were more around United States, but I think it was around 20 to 25% college students are women who are in computer science and engineering. And then in the workforce, I think the numbers are actually around somewhere between 26 and 35%. However, I also read that by the middle-ish of their careers, more women leave the field and the industry than men. So even if women get into tech, it seems like that it's more likely that they either leave or they get laid off and then decide to pick another field. And I think the open source numbers are unfortunately even lower than this. Like you mentioned, the mentorship program that you're leading and working with. Do you know what roughly the statistics are there in terms of women versus men? Like what the ratio is?
It's in line with the rest of the statistics we would hear, about 10%. And of the women, of men, all the new developers tend to be women. And it is kind of in line with the rest of the stuff. In the kernel too, we see contributions hover like anywhere between 7 to 10%. And that is a good question, which puzzles me at times because you can, the barrier part, right? So nobody really knows you are sending a contribution other than your legal name and email address. Really, nobody is asking questions. If in the corporate world they are making choices, hiring choices, but in the open source they are not making any hiring choices, right? So you are a self-selected group of people that would come and make contributions, then patches out and do work. So that puzzles me, that why in that case we don't see more women, because open source lends itself to have flexible time, and you can work when you have time. Then I am puzzled, but it is 10%. The facts are that it is about 10%. And then interestingly, that 10% is exactly the same when I went to get my engineering degree. We were about 10%. I'm part of the 10% of women that were pursuing engineering at that time. That number seemed to have gone up to 40%, depending on the school you see. Um, each school might have different percentages of women. And yet, I was just looking up some numbers. In India, it seems like 40% of the graduates, engineering graduates, are women. However, you look at people that are working in the workforce, that is about 15 to 20%. So it seem to not continue. And so I do not understand all of the factors.
I think, funnily enough, we were around 10% in Hungary as well. In the, I think it was electrical engineering and computer science combined in that department. And I think we might have had, I don't know, one or two classes together, but like the ratio was, I think, around 10%. And obviously, electrical engineering had even less women than the computer science part did. So I very clearly remember that sitting next to another woman in class, especially when everyone was together, it was, I don't know, 200, 300 people in the computer science part. That was like, oh wow, you exist, another woman. So it was, yeah, it was something that you had to look for, like, where are the other girls? And like, women's bathrooms, I'm sure everyone saw lines at concerts and other crowded places at the women's bathrooms, and in my university was empty almost all the time. Like whenever I ran into one other woman, they're like, "Oh, hi."